Hello everybody and welcome to the career sim of Dalibor Dvorsky. Let's get straight into it. Quick disclaimer: since the SHL is not in this game because he originally would play for IK Oskarshamn, he would be put in the NCO league on Boston College. Anyway, he is on the first line of Boston College. In his first season, Dvorsky would play 32 games and would put up 48 points. Boston would finish 8th in the league and make the playoffs. In the second round of the playoffs, since I don't know how many games an NCAA hockey playoff series goes to, the Eagles would be eliminated in a single knockout season to Bowling Green in 2 games. Dvorsky would also put up 2 points, making it 2 a point a game in the playoffs. In the draft lottery, the Blues and Coyotes have the best odds at the first overall pick. But the Red Wings would take the Blues spot and the Blues would also slip to number 2. Also, Dvorsky is projected to go 12th overall, and with the 13th overall pick the Sharks would select Dalibor. Dalibor Dvorsky is revealed to be a 72 and would revive a contract for 3 years for $832,000. Anyway, in season 1 he is up to a 74. Also, he would be back on Boston College to finish school. Dvorsky would play the same amount of games, this time scoring 59 points. Boston College would finish 7th in the league and would of course make the playoffs. But in the second round the Maine Black Bears would defeat the Boston College Eagles. In the playoffs, Dvorsky would put up only 3 assists in 1 game. In year 2 he is up to a 78. But the Sharks would send him down to the OHL to play for the Guelph Storm for a season. In that season Dvorsky would put up spectacular numbers, scoring 83 points in just 67 games. Guelph would finish 12th in the NHL but would miss the playoffs, missing out on a wild card spot. Dvorsky would be called up to the NHL as an 82 overall but with top 9 potential, meaning that his max potential is 82 to 85 overall. Anyway, he'd be playing on the third left wing line. In his rookie season, Dalibor would play 72 games and would score 34 points on his rookie season. The Sharks would place 20th with Dvorsky's help but would barely miss the playoffs. Also, Dalibor finished 2nd in Calder voting. In the last year of his rookie contract he is now up to 84. Dvorsky would put up 38 goals, this time playing a full 82-game season. The Sharks would unfortunately finish 27th and miss the playoffs. Looks like the Sharks couldn't afford Dvorsky as he is heading into his first ever year of free agency in the NHL. In free agency, Dvorsky would sign with the Blackhawks on a 3-year $4.945 million contract deal. Also, he was traded and then he signed with the Hawks. Here's the details. Dvorsky would stay in his 30 points range as he would score 37 points in a full 82-game season. The Blackhawks would finish 19th in the league and would miss out on a wild card spot. In his second year with the Hawks and the 5th year in this sim, Dvorsky is still an 84. Dvorsky would have a slump season, playing a whole season but would only put up 23 points. More disappointment as the Blackhawks would once again miss the playoffs, getting 15th in the league. In his last year of his 3-year contract with the Blackhawks he is up to an 86 as a top 9 player. Anyway, in 37 games only Dvorsky would put up 24 points, which is not bad at all. The Blackhawks would finally sneak into that wild card spot as they finished 17th in the league. In the second round the Avalanche would eliminate the Hawks, though unfortunately in 6 games, and in 10 games Dvorsky would score 6 points, which is once again not bad at all. Dvorsky would receive another 3-year contract, this time for $5.230 million across 3 years of course. Also, he is down to an 84 overall. Dvorsky would score 38 points in 81 games. Chicago would finish 2nd in the league and would without a doubt make the playoffs. Unfortunately, the Hawks would be eliminated in the second round again to the Avalanche again. In 9 games Dvorsky would put up 8 points though. As Dvorsky enters the maximum potential mark he is still an 84 overall. In 75 games Dvorsky would score 28 points. The Hawks would finish 7th in the league. The Avalanche would once again meet the Blackhawks in the second round and would defeat the Hawks, taking them down in 6 games again. In 13 playoff games Dvorsky would only put up 4 points. In his last year of his 3rd ever NHL contract Dvorsky is once again still 84. Dvorsky would shock the NHL, putting up a new career high with 58 points in a full season. But the Blackhawks would also shock the league as they missed the playoffs, placing 29th. Dvorsky would bag another 3-year contract with the Blackhawks for $5.980 million. Also, he is now back up to an 86. Dvorsky would put up 61 points, showing that he might be in his prime. The Blackhawks would place 1st in the league, clinching that President's Trophy. The Ducks would eliminate the Hawks in the Western Conference Final, though in 5 games. But in the playoffs Dalibor would put up only 3 points. He is down to an 84. Maybe Dvorsky is out of his prime as soon as he was in his prime, as he would score only 40 points in a full 82-game season. The Hawks would disappoint too, missing the playoffs as the 17th placed team. Now in his 30s Dvorsky is still an 84. For some reason Dvorsky would play 7 games in the minors playing for the Ice Hogs. For some reason anyway, he scored 13 points in the minors, and in the NHL he would score 42 points. The Hawks would barely make the playoffs, placing 17th. The Ducks would sweep the Ducks in the first round though. Also Dvorsky only put up 1 point. You guessed it, Dvorsky would take home another 3-year contract, this time worth $6.474 million. Dvorsky is still an 84 overall, of course. Also he would be traded to the Caps for Sebastian Casa, a made-up player whose last name is Blom, and a 2037 third-round pick. Dvorsky would play 77 games and would put up 64 points. Maybe I was wrong about the prime thing, he is probably just a up-and-down type of player. All that hard work would not pay off as the Caps would miss the playoffs, placing 23rd. He is still an 84. Dvorsky would play only 61 games and would score 45 points in those 61 games with the Capitals. The Capitals would shock everyone this season, placing first, and once again Dvorsky's team is taking home a President's Trophy. The Devils would eliminate the Capitals in a go big or go home Game 7 overtime, as the Capitals lost to the Devils in 7 games. Dvorsky would put up 4 points in 7 games as well. Dvorsky is now an 82 as well and would put up 28 points in a whole regular season. The Capitals would go from top to bottom as they finished 30th, coming off of a President's Trophy season. Dvorsky would get something new, which is a 2-year contract instead of a 3-year for $2.667 million. But Dvorsky would be traded to the Canucks for a made-up player and a 2041 third. Dvorsky would only play 3 games with the team, however, putting up a goose egg 0 points. The Canucks would place 20th in the league and would miss the playoffs. In what could be Dvorsky's last year as an NHL player and as a Canuck, he is now down to a 78. In 39 AHL games Dvorsky would put up 39 points with the Canucks AHL affiliate, the Abbotsford Canucks. The Canucks would finish 9th in the league though. In the first round of the AHL playoffs, the Canucks and Dvorsky would lose to the team that Dvorsky started with, San Jose, in 6 games. Also in 6 playoff games Dvorsky would put up 4 points. At the age of 36, Dalibor Dvorsky would finally retire. Here are his stats for regular season and in the playoffs. Pause to read if you'd like. Hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.